we know it's going to get worse. You know, the
And that
trials
was
are
back
coming.
in 1949.
Yeah, that's over
That's a long time ago.
75 years ago. Today we're starting retirement. You know, we finished the investing side. Sister Sudwick commented that the investing plans we've seen are some of the best we've seen in the last 4 semesters. So we appreciate the work that you guys are doing on those.
And the investing part helps you to get ready for your retirement.
Okay.
So it helps you to plan ahead, save your money, and invest it wisely so that you can retire comfortably.
So realize that retirement varies across cultures. Western countries, it seems as a time for leisure, often supported by pensions and savings. Again, we're retired here, and so what are we doing in our leisure time? We're serving missions. Asian cultures emphasize family care, lifelong work, and sometimes spiritual pursuits in later years. Latin America, Middle East, again, they prioritize family support, with retirees often living with their children. And in Africa, formal retirement is really less common, and elders continue to contribute in their communities. So again, what we're doing here is we will share principles. We'll share how it's applied in the U.S., and then you guys are going to have to apply those in your cultures. But the approach to retirement reflects values, economic systems, family structures, and attitudes. So again, the next 2 class periods, we're going to be hitting this fairly hard. So Section 13, your retirement plan. So what are your retirement goals? How many years until you retire? Have you ever thought about how long you're going to live?
In retirement?
Or just live.
Live period.
Yeah. So today we're going to take some what we call death clocks or longevity quizzes or things like that. We'll do that, and each of you will put that information in, and you'll get a sense, at least statistically, how long you're going to live. So how much will you need? How much do you have now? And what percent should you save annually to accomplish your goals? You know, we've talked about how much you have to save. We recommend saving 20%. Well, let's have you go through it. You can figure out based on what you want to retire on, and when you want to retire, we can actually see how much you'll need to save. Then what are your plans and strategies? We divide it into accumulation, retirement and distribution plans, and what are your constraints? So today in class, what we'll be doing is we'll be calculating your retirement needs, that you're going to have to fill that out. And we'll actually fill it out in class and attach it to your template. And then all you have to do is go finish the template. So that way you'll have it done. But has life expectancy changed? Yeah. It's interesting. 1,900 women were expected to live to age 46, men age 48. Or men 46 and 48. 2016, that increased. Interesting, 2021, it's actually come off a little bit too. And how about if you're members of the church? Do we live longer? And the answer is yes, statistically longer. So how long are you going to live? We would like each of you to go on, and we want you to do 2 websites. Number 1, we're going to do Social Security. So here is the long thing, or you can just search Social Security longevity calculator. Pull up your computers and do that. So it's kind of a fun thing to think about that. Really, this is not something people tend to think about. So let's talk. What are the principles of retirement planning?
Okay, so know yourself and your goals. Listen to the Spirit. Use retirement vehicles. Choose them wisely and save and invest. Know and follow your retirement planning steps.
We'll talk about those.
And develop a good retirement plan and write it carefully and follow it closely and start today. If you have time on your side when you're younger, so you're never going to wish that you had saved less money. You're always going to wish you had saved more money for your retirement. So, think celestial. I am a child of God, striving to live worthy of the Spirit, learning about key areas, steps, and strategies for retirement. With this information, I can make wise choices and decisions about my future, which will allow me to save and invest appropriately now and to accomplish my personal mission. He had said when he was 45, he wanted to retire from doing asset management and then go back and teach at BYU. And I said, okay, well, the house has to be paid for. We have to have this much money in the bank.
And she increased it by 33%.
And he actually met that goal, and he retired from doing asset management
On
when
my
he was.
last day,
His last day of work was his 45th birthday. And then the next year, he started teaching at BYU, and then taught there for 20 years, and then retired from there when he was 65.
Yeah. So there's something about goals. And when I set the goal to retire at 45, I had no idea. I hadn't done any financial calculations. I hadn't done any of those things at all. And it wasn't until later that Sister Sedgwick came up with goals and said, hey, we have to have this done. We have to have this
Yeah,
paid
if you
off.
want to retire, this is what we got to do.
But it's amazing how goals and trying to stay close to the Spirit can help you. So you want to have some of those wildly audacious goals, those WAG goals. And you know what? If it's right, the Lord will help you accomplish them.
And also, when he was teaching at BYU, I actually took his class, remember, back in 2011. And I said, he'd always tell me we're going to be fine in retirement, but I didn't know until I actually put together this retirement plan that he had come up
The
with.
spreadsheet that you're going to do today.
And I plugged in what you're going to need, because we have a planning for your retirement needs calculator that we did, and I plugged in all the numbers. I'm like, oh, we are going to be okay at retirement. But I didn't know until I actually put that in, and I could see all the money we had saved and what we were planning to do and how we were going to retire at 65. So.
And has it worked out okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, then the question is, what age do you want to retire? And what do you want to do in retirement? Do you just want to play golf? You know, I think golf would be fun for a little bit, but after that, I think I'd get a little bit bored. So we keep telling people you want to retire to something and not retire from something. So we retired on August 31st. On October 5th, we went into the online MTC. So 6 weeks later.
It was during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. In the last 5 years, we've been home for a year. Mm-hmm. So, but I know this seems strange, but I'd like you to think through about this. About what do you want to do when you retire? What age do you want to retire? It doesn't have to be 65. So your full retirement age for Social Security in the U.S. is 67. Different countries have different amounts. But what are your financial responsibilities? Will you still have children? But you want to retire soon enough so you have health to do your bucket list. Mm-hmm. Do the things that you'd like to do.
And you want to be healthy. Yeah, exactly.
So I never thought that at age 70 we'd still be running. So we've done 10 half marathons. We'll go back in June. We'll do the Utah Valley Half Marathon. I'd never thought that we would do that. We still run 3 days a week. We're very slow. Some of you run here, and you guys pass us up on the bike path. But you want to try to stay as healthy as you can so you can enjoy those later years. Jeff Hill says, live while you have life to live, love while you have love to give. I like that. I like that quote. And then the question is, where do you want to live? What kind of a residence? Are you going to live by yourself? Are you going to do a retirement community? You're going to do a condo that takes care of the outside maintenance? You want to be close to your children, and you want to be away? How about your parents, if you have elderly parents that are around? So lots of decisions. The good news is you don't have to make a lot of those decisions, but it's nice to think about it. Think about what you want to do. And then the question is, what do you want to do with your money? You want to spend it? You want to contribute it? You want to leave it to your posterity? Sister Sedgwick and I joke, we're spending our kids' inheritance. We want them to be sad when we die. So, but think about it. We have friends that we call trust babies, that their grandparents made lots of money, and then they left it for their grandkids. And it hasn't been a blessing in all the grandkids' lives.
Because then they haven't learned the value of work, because they just live off the money and they don't really work.
So think through it. These are decisions that we need to think through. And then the question is, what do you want to do in retirement? You want to travel? Hobbies? So what's on your bucket list? And it's kind of fun to have a bucket list. What are some of the things that you'd like to do? You know what Sister Sedgwick's and my bucket list are? These are some things that we like.
I always wanted to teach at BYU Hawaii.
So we're getting...
Well, I wanted him to teach. I didn't think I was going to teach. But we're here doing it together, and it's been really fun. But we want to visit 100 temples. We've done a lot, but
probably at 60.
not 100. We like Interlaken, Switzerland. It's really a cool
We
place
used to take
to go.
24 BYU students every year. So we did it for 6 years. 4 years we went to Europe, and our midpoint was always Interlaken. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. We did paragliding there. A whole bunch of fun stuff.
Soon I want to take a cruise around the Pacific Island countries.
You never guess where we got that idea.
Yeah. I want to go see all the places where you guys live. Go on an Israel. This was one of his goals, to go on an Israel trip with all 7 kids, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But we did it by ourselves.
Which was fun.
So, and then just attend all of our baby blessings. And he said he wanted to serve 5 missions. I say 1 at a time. So we're on number 3.
So when it came to kids, she said 4 kids, I said 5, then she said 1 at a time, and we compromised to 7. And so, again, 5 missions is a goal we set 20 years ago. And again,
He set that goal. I just say 1 at a time.
Yeah. So what are the steps? Again, first of all, catch your vision. What's your retirement vision? And that'll be different depending on where you're from. What's your income available at retirement? Social Security, pensions, money you've saved. What are your needs after inflation? Too many people, they think, okay, I'm going to need $100,000 in 40 years. Well, $100,000 in 40 years is not going to buy very much because inflation will continue. So we need to inflation adjust that. And then how much are you going to need to set your goals or to accomplish the
what
retirement
you want to do.
That you want at retirement. So again, 8 pieces of information you're going to need for this. How much money you need to retire on each year. So that's your decision. How much do you have currently saved? How many years until you retire? What return? Look at number 4 and number 7. Does that look familiar?
What return do you expect to make before you retire, and what return do you expect to make in retirement? And we did that on our investment plan.
So you see this whole class, we build on taxes, then we build into each of the different areas and investing, and now we're coming into retirement.
So we have a calculator, and then we want everybody to pull up the calculator. It's T25, calculating retirement needs. Everybody can pull it up right now, and we'll do it in class, and then we'll show you how to attach it to your investment plan.
And then if you do your template as well, download your template, we'll copy your retirement plan to your template, and then you'll have that done. So
So he needs to save $38,000 annually in order to be able to retire at age 50.
But he wants to retire at age 50.
So you need to save almost $40,000 every year
To retire
To
at age
retire
50,
at age
which is 78%. Does that make logical sense? No, that's going to be pretty tough. So let's look and see some of the things he can do. What happens? So right here, he's got to save 78% of his income. What happens if instead of retirement age, he goes to 55? Now he only has to save 50% of his income.
Where does it say 50?
Right here.
Oh.
What happens if he retires at age 60?
Now he's down to 31%.
What happens at 65?
He's down at 19.
Now he's down to 20%.
Now he's down to 20%
So
if he retires at 65.
again, if Zach really wants to retire at age 50, is he going to have to get pretty aggressive on his savings? Yeah. It doesn't mean you can't do it, Zach. It just means you have to be wise on that. So what does this tool tell us? This tool tells us, hey, if we want to retire early, we're going to need to be saving, and probably saving really aggressively. Again, the file, it's a simple spreadsheet, and it's really just 3 time value of money calculation. This is how much we need. If inflation is X, then that tells us how much we need. What's fun to do is take that spreadsheet and change your inflation numbers and see how inflation has a huge impact on how much you need to save for retirement. Luckily, equities have tended to roughly be a good inflation hedge. What are our takeaways?
The blessings of the gospel are of great worth, and the price for them is very high. but the price is within our reach and is paid for with righteous living.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.